Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through a Kodak Black tutorial. To be honest, I haven't done one before, and I like Kodak Black. I've been getting on them recently, so I thought, let me do this. However, before we get into the video, guys, we're on the way to 1,000 subscribers. We're just past 600. You know, we're grinding out here. 2023, new year, new me, new channel. Come on. So, appreciate all the support. However, let's not get carried away, and now let's just get straight into the beat. So, first thing about this beat, I actually decided to go for a 170 BPM kind of style, so that's that. And as well as that, as you can see, the first instance we've got up is Piano V3, and the preset I have got is Bill's Best Jazz. So, as you can see from the pattern, these are the simple root notes that I've got laid down. Very, very simple, straightforward, but it's a very, very nice bounce. So it's very essential for Kodak. You need a really good bounce, always keep that in mind. And as you can see, I started off down at C, took it up to a D sharp, especially with them half steps, you know, very good for that sound, and up to an F, and again, making use of the half step here to a G sharp. The thing that's quite important to note is, as you can see, I've got this nice little extra bounce going here with these highlighted notes from that area. And the last thing to note as well, the bounce that I've got going between the F here, these two extra notes, trust me, they make a very big difference. And all I really did was just highlight the bottom root notes, click copy, go up, click V for pasting, and it was that simple, just 3 octaves, nice layering. So without further ado, this is what the simple root notes sound like. And there we have it. As you can hear, it carries emotion, super dope, and the bounce is really great, so that's what we like. First thing to note, I got myself a basic EQ going here, and I just cut off a lot of the lows, and then just adjusted the frequencies accordingly as well. Then on top of that, I added a very slight bit of reverb, because these are the root notes. I don't want it to be drowned and cause some muddiness. And then last but not least, I stereo separated this 33%, because I want the actual melody to be the main focal point of the beat, so I stereo separated this a bit wide. Next up, we got ourselves another instance of the same preset, same VST. However, we got ourselves a nice top line melody going, and this is the melody that is going to be playing throughout the majority of the beat as well as the root notes. So as you can see, I've got myself a nice simple pattern going, kind of like a cascading effect, except it's going upwards and then down to a D, and then back up to the G, and then repeat it pretty much again. However, I decided to switch it up for the last part of the 4 bar, just to give it some variety and make it very nice. And then just loop that over for a full 8. But before we actually play the melody, one thing that's very important to notice is these little tiny notes that I've got going here. And what that does, it sounds like it's an actual natural human finger strum when you're playing the piano. So I'll show you how I did this. First thing to note is you want to zoom in all the way, of course. Then go onto the magnet tool, click none, and then all you have to do is click shift and drag the note in to the desired length. However, I thought this was a great length, so I kept it at this length. Play it at the note just beneath the next one that is going to be the main note playing, and that's how you get this nice little kind of roll effect. But with that being said, this is now what the melody sounds like with the root notes. And there we have it. Sounds really dope, I can't lie. I actually love this beat, and it's really, really simple. That's the best part about it. As for effects again, simple EQ as you can see, no lows, few frequencies got ducked, and then I added a bit more reverb, up the mix a bit more. The K is essentially the same though. But as you can see, I've got no stereo separation at all, because this is the melody that I want to be in the forefront of the beat. As you can see, there's no stereo separation because this is the melody that I want to be in the forefront of the beat for you guys. Next up, we got ourselves an instance of Expand 2, and the preset that's being used is the faster attack strings, of course, from the strings bank. And as you guys can see, this is just a layer on top of the main melody, so literally just copy and pasted it over, nothing more, nothing less, just to add a bit more layerage to it, cover more frequencies, and yeah, so this is what the melody and the root notes sound like. And there you have it, and as you can hear, it just adds a bit more depth to the whole melody, gives it a bit more of like a thickness especially, so really, really nice addition in my opinion. Again, very, very simple EQing going on here as before, and then on top of that, I added a bit more of a heavier reverb, but really it's just all the same. And then last but not least, I stereo separated this 50%, so when you hear it, especially with headphones on, it doesn't sound like it's also clashing with the melody itself. It sounds like it's a nice layer on top, and it's a bit wider out, so it's not like they're kind of clashing. And now, last but not least for the melody, the preset we have got here is Ambient Space Piano, and of course, it's from the synth itself, Omnisphere. Omnisphere's the goat, so hey, of course you gotta use it. And as you can see, this is the pattern I've got laid down. It is very simple, but let me walk you through the idea. But as you guys can see from the root notes, it's the exact same pattern as the very first melody, where it's just that nice bounce going. And all I really did, to be honest, was just build chords that came alongside with it. So as you can see, a nice minor chord made, came to a major, another minor, and another major. And then all I actually did was click copy, go up, space, and then just drag these back to where they were supposed to be. So that was a very simple, nice little kind of thing that I've done. And then the last thing I actually did was click Alt S to add some strum, make it sound more human. And last thing I did was click Alt R just to randomize the velocity. Again, just adding that more of a human touch to it. As for the effects real quick, all I did was just got another EQ again. A lot of the highs were cut out for the Rhodes because I wanted to be a nice little textural thing, a bit of ear candy, so frequencies were not too harsh. And then on top of that, I got myself a very heavy reverb, again, just to wash it out, space it out, and keep it low in the mix. And last but not least, I stereo separated it literally 100%. Just before you hear the full melody, I rendered it all out, took it up 300 cents, taking it from a C minor up to a D sharp minor. And now, without further ado, this is what the melody sounds like. And there you have it, folks. Super dope Kodak melody. But without further ado, let's get straight into these drums. As for the drums, you guys may be a bit shocked, but they're very simple and straightforward because the melody goes hard, it's a nice bounce, so you don't want to just do too much with the drums just to ruin that bounce you've already got. So keeping it simple is very key for the Kodak element. And as you guys obviously can see here, the clap pattern is where it all starts, and this is what it sounds like. And there we have it. Next up, we got ourselves the hi-hat pattern. Very simple, straightforward. However, I tweaked it a little bit because all I did was, as you can see down here, tweaked with the velocities a bit, giving it a bit more rhythm and nice little bounce to add to the whole thing of the melody, to add to the whole thing of the beat. So the way I did this was, if we start off with only 2 hi-hats, I highlighted one, used the right scroller wheel to mess with it a bit, then went up here, right click drag, and then click Control B and hold it until it fills out the full 8 bar. So without further ado, this is what it sounds like now. Boom. And then of course, next up we got ourselves the kick pattern, very essential. And as you can see, it's a very nice bounce we got going. It's essentially a 2 bar that repeats over into the 4, but I just added something for a bit of variety, which was this extra little note. And then of course, take that 4 bar, copy and paste it over, and we got a full 8. However, very important for you guys to note, 3 words, max your velocities, and this will apply to your 808s as well. So what I mean by this is, if you click Control A and highlight all your notes and then use your right scroller wheel, you want to scroll it up until you see these things going all the way to the top, indicating your velocity's been maxed. And all that does is it makes your drums hit harder, especially again the kick in your 808, which really adds to that nice trap sound that you're going for. And of course, if Kodak's hearing your beat, it may make him want to hop on your beat, so hey, take the advice. So this is what the drums sound like now. And there we have it. And next up, all I added with this nice little crash sound, as you can hear just now. Very simple, straightforward, but it comes in once in a while throughout the beat. And last but not least, we got ourselves the 808 pattern. And as you guys can see, something that I want to show real quick. If you go up to the automation here, the envelope, I quickly just changed everything down to 0 apart from the hold, which means as long as the note is actually playing, the 808 will play, and as soon as the note stops, it cuts off. So as you guys can see here, I've done this especially throughout here when this gap occurs and this gap occurs, and you'll hear the bounce it gives because it just sounds really dope. And I feel like it brings a bit of variety, but without messing up the beat at all, keeping it simple, because again, this is for Kodak. And of course, remember, we're not doing this in the note of C minor anymore. We're taking up 1, 2, 3 to a G sharp minor, because that's what the whole melody's been pitched up. So without further ado, this is what the full beat sounds like. And there we have it, folks. You've officially got the tutorial for how to make a dope Kodak Black beat. And of course, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below, all that jazz. I appreciate the support. Have a great day. Thanks for watching and take it easy.